Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drive. Today we are back with a what can you get from that pack series, and the pack in question today is the Great Exhibition Saloon Carbon Fiber. Today we're reviewing this pack, and what makes it so significant is because this is the pack that you need to open to get you the cars to win the McLaren P1 Gtr. I know with all the wild stuff going on right now, some people might even forget that the McLaren P1 Gtr is up for grabs. Well, I'm here to remind you that the McLaren P1 GTR is up for grabs. So if you want to get it, you gotta open this pack, and today I'm going to be deducing it, dissecting it. That was the word I'm looking for, dissecting. Ooh. I'm gonna be dissecting this pack and telling you what are the best cars and the worst cars that you can get. There are two different tier lists. First one is a general tier list. Second one is a prize card tier list. That means that the first one, I'm going to be judging these cars and this pack in a general sense. How these cars live up to other saloons in the game, other British cars in the game. And the second tier list that I'm going to do is going to be which car is going to be key in winning you the McLaren P1, and which cars are going to be okay in winning you the McLaren P1, and which cars are absolutely useless. So are you guys ready? Let's get wait, not yet, because before I review this pack, I got to show you the track sets for the final. So, lo and behold, let me show it to you right now. So there you go. Instead of reading it out, you guys could have just paused the video or just read it yourselves. As you can see, I'm doing a whole different format. I'm not in my game this time. I'm actually here in Tier Maker, where I'm going to tier list everything for you in a more in-depth fashion. I think it's better that way, and it will help you better that way as well. So here are my ranks. We have Essential, B Team, C Team, Team Hot Garbage, and the last one isn't a tier. It's just a disclaimer. Fuse at your own discretion. The thing is, with the introduction of the new flexible criteria, Hutch, and the Top Drives team are pushing it so that every car in the game will have its day. Useless cars are getting less useless, if that makes sense. That being said, though, there are cars that are always going to be better than others. There are cars that are always going to perform better than others. So instead of saying this car is key and this car is fuse and hot garbage and you should get rid of it, how I'm gonna deduce it and basically separate everything is I'm gonna go Essential, B Team, C Team, and Team Hot Garbage, okay? And then you can choose if you want to fuse them at your own discretion, because there are some really bad cars here. But with the introduction of flexible criteria, with the legendary challenges, with the tune-ups which make you use the lower end, sometimes you can't have the best option all the time. So what I can do is tell you what are the best cars from this pack and what are the least desirable cars from this pack. But just because the car is least desirable, just because the car is hot garbage, it doesn't mean that you have to fuse it on site. It hurts me to say it, but the game is evolving and we have to evolve with the game. So, and ultimately, this new tactic will give you a stronger garage. Anyway, let's go. So, first car is the Aston Martin Repeat. I'm sorry if that was a pretty long intro. I just had to get a lot of things off my chest just to make sure that you guys know the kind of direction that I'm going with this video. So, Aston Martin Repeat. To me, it's a B Team car. Now, I know in my top 3 best ultra rares and top 3 worst ultra rares, I said that the Aston Martin Repeat was one of the worst RQ61s. That is still true. I still think that the Aston Martin Repeat is one of the worst RQ61s when you compare it to all the RQ61s in the game. That being said, though, that doesn't mean it's a bad ultra rare. It is still a decent ultra rare. You can get over 90 handling and sub 4 seconds 0 to 60. So it's not the worst ultra. In fact, it's quite good, and I'm gonna put it in the B Team. It's definitely not essential, though. What is essential, however, is the Aston Martin Repeat S. This is the best Aston Martin ultra rare in the game, and to be completely honest, it is the best, most likely the best British saloon ultra rare in the game. It has decent handling, 93 when you max it out, and the 0 to 60 is also very low. I think it hits 3.7, 3.8 around that mark. So it is a very impressive car, and it just has a slight edge over all the Aston Martins ultra rares that are in the game. Next one is the Bentley Arnage Final Series. That is Team Hot Garbage. Once again, I'm not going to tell you that you must fuse it but I can say that this is one of the worst performing cars that you can get from this pack. Alongside that is the Bentley Arnage T. I maxed this out because I was bored and I have it 332 and I haven't used it once. It's heavy, it has a high top speed, but the 0 to 60 isn't very good, the MRA isn't very good, the handling isn't very good. I get that it's medium, but then again, it's not the best car for the city streets medium, so it's team hot garbage. Next up on the list is the Bentley Mulsanne. This is a C team. Once again, it's a very heavy car, but what it has is just slightly better handling. You max it out 233, it'll hit 89, all right? So it's just one shy off 90. It's not a good car, right? But it is C team. I would still fuse it, but like I said, fuse at your own discretion. In my opinion, that's a C team car. Next up is the Blue Train. The Blue Train is a B team. I think that this is one of the best Bentley ultra rares in the game. In fact, it is one of the best ultra rares in the game for Bentley, but there are only two, and the other one is the Bentley Butter. So I'm just gonna put them together. They're basically the same car, same top speed, same weight, same 0 to 60, same handling, same ground clearance, everything. Next up is the Bentley Mulsanne Design Series. The Bentley Mulsanne Design Series is kind of like the same thing to the Bentley Mulsanne. There's just a lot of Bentley Mulsannes in the game, man. We just got to get used to it. They're both C-team cars, in my opinion. Next up on the list is the Bentley Mulsanne Extended Wheelbase. That is team hot garbage for me. It doesn't hit close to 90 handling. In fact, if you max it out, I think it hits 88 if you 233 and 87 if you 323, if I remember correctly. Next is the Bentley Mulsanne WO edition. That is also team hard garbage. I've talked about this in my ultra video already. I know that the on paper stats for the Bentley Mulsanne WO look good. I mean, they look better than both the Bentleys that I put in the C team, but bear in mind that this Bentley is more expensive and it underperforms. Like I said in my video, that is like the opposite of a sleeper. You think it will do well because the on paper stats on the Walter Owen edition is good, but it just underperforms. And I can't stress this enough, Leo absolutely hates this car, and Leo knows this game as much as I do, even though he quit. Next up is the Jaguar S-Type. This is also team hot garbage. I mean, the thing is, right, when was the last time you ever saw the Jaguar S-Type being used in any event? No, I just haven't seen it. And if you've seen it, that probably means that you didn't end tier 1 or tier 2. I'm sorry, but the truth hurts sometimes. They hated Jesus because he told the truth. Next up on the list is the Jaguar XER Dynamic S. It's a C-team car. The thing is, right, this Jag, RQ64, right? The MRA is pretty good, but the top speed is low, right? Medium ground clearance, the handling isn't very good. The 0 to 60 is kind of meh. The thing about the Dynamic S is that it talks the talk, or it talks a big talk, but it doesn't walk the walk, if that makes sense. It's one of those RQ64s where you can be like, is it really an RQ64 though? Like the Jaguar S-Type R, right? You know how I said when was the last time you saw the Jaguar S-Type R being used? When was the last time you saw the Jaguar XER Dynamic S being used? Exactly. I've been through about 3-4 Jaguar events now where I didn't need to use that. In fact, the last 3-4 Jaguar events, all I've seen is the bloody XJR9, and even my Project 8 has gotten 2 times to shine before the XE Dynamic S. The thing is, it's an okay car. It's an okay car, but tell me, when was the last time you actually saw this thing being key in anything? No, not really. So C-team is the most I can give to it. Next one is the Jaguar XJ 5.0 V8. That car is B-team. The handling is okay, the 0 to 60 is low, and the top speed is high for a standard tire car. It also has, well, standard tires and medium ground clearance. What makes the Jaguar XJ 5.0 good is that, well, it's a good car in its niche. It's a good car in rear-wheel drive standard tires, okay? Not standard tires in general, because in standard tires in general, you want to go with 4-wheel drive standard tires. But in rear-wheel drive standard tires, that's a pretty decent car, if not one of the best. So it is a B-team car in my opinion. I have 2 of them max, and they have saved me, okay? When it is called for, when it's niche is available for use, that Jaguar XJ can come in clutch, but it comes in clutch in very rare occasions. But when it does, it makes the difference. So I'm giving it B team. Next up is the Jaguar XJR. I have this baby Max. It's a great looking car, but that's as far as it goes. Once again, man, that thing isn't gonna get you anywhere. It doesn't handle. The 0 to 60 isn't impressive. The MRA isn't good, and the top speed is, well, it's just mediocre, right? It's 155. A lot of cars are 155, mostly the British and the Germans. Medium ground clearance, but once again, it's not going to get you anywhere. So it is team hog garbage. If you have nothing else to max, maybe you can max it, because that's exactly what happened to me. I had nothing else to max, So I maxed out. It's actually the same exact story for the Bentley Arnage T. Next up is the Jaguar X-Type. That is essential. Jaguar X-Type is essential, all right? Four-wheel drive, standard tires. It's one of the best standard tire British cars in the game. I know that Caterham exists, but if you have to use a four-wheel drive car, if you have to use a five-seater, if you have to use a saloon and it's a rain event, you can't use the Caterham, but you can use the Jaguar X-Type. So that is a fantastic car. Next one is the Bentley Continental Flying Spur. That is also team hot garbage. The thing is, I've never seen an event where the Bentley Continental Flying Spur has been key. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Blossom, isn't this a decent epic that you can use in the final? No, because I will get to the other tier list where I rank all the cars in a final sense, and that car is in the lowest rank, I believe, or if not one of the lower ranks. Next one is the Bentley Flying Spur. Same thing here, man. Team hard garbage. This thing just isn't very good. Next up on the list is the Bentley Flying Spur V8S. Now this car, I think, is C-Team. It's just, they're better four-wheel drive. The thing is, right? When you think about it in a general sense, when you think of performance tire, four-wheel drive, medium ground clearance epics, you never think of the heavy Bentleys. No, you think of the Evos. Because the Evos are bloody fantastic. The Bentleys is just the fat cousin. So yeah, it's not very good. The most I can give it is C-Team because yes, it is significantly better than the Continental Flying Spur and the RQ67 Flying Spur, but it's still not a good car. And that's the same thing with the RQ74 Flying Spur W12. The most I can give it to is C-Team. The 0 to 60 is impressive, the top speed is high, but the MRA isn't good. So even if you have 200 miles per hour as your top speed, if your MRA isn't good, you're not gonna hit it. That's the most unfortunate part. The 0 to 60 is low, the handling isn't very good, it's four-wheel drive, it's heavy. The most I can give it is C-Team. Next one, however, is the Bentley Flying Spur W12S. Now this car is actually, you know, pretty damn good. In fact, I'm actually gonna put it in essential because it is one of the best four-wheel drive, medium ground clearance, performance tire British cars in the game. It just handles the best, the 0 to 60 is the lowest, and the top speed is the highest, but once again, it has no MRA, so don't expect it to get close to 202 miles per hour. Next up on the list is the Jaguar XJR. The Jaguar XJR, in my opinion, is C-Team as well. Just doesn't handle that well. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably being pretty strict, but you know, I just don't think it deserves B-Team. The MRA isn't very good. It's medium ground clearance, but the main problem about these Jags, the red one and the blue one, which to be honest is essential, is that they are most likely gonna go low. Much like the Panteras, these cars are low. Once again, you can feel free to post some links down in the comments below telling me that the Jaguars are actually medium, but I doubt it. In fact, you can go online and search up Jaguar XJR 575 ground clearance, and you will go to a website called Auto Evolution. Sounds familiar, right? Because that's the magazine that Hutch works with to get the stats. And on autoevolution.com, they state that the Jaguar XJR 575 has a ground clearance of 109 millimeters. The cap for medium and top drives is 132. So that should be low. So for now, it's essential because it's medium, but I have to say the 575 is an essential car right now. In fact, this car is key for winning the McLaren P1 GTR, and ironically, it was also key for winning the McLaren P1, the last tri-series we had before American Frontier. So now we're in a situation where the Jaguar XJR 575 has been key in both McLaren reruns. Bruh! And the last but not least is the Bentley Flying Spur. This is a B-Team car. Now, all I can say is, although that's B-Team, never fuse a legendary. Never fuse a legendary, but let's be honest, that is one of the weaker legendaries in the game. The best thing about the Bentley Flying Spur is that it was going to be the best car for this final. That was it. The only reason why I wanted the Bentley Flying Spur in the past, and you might have heard me say that because I have said that before in previous pack openings, the only reason why I want the Bentley Flying Spur was for a moment like this. Because I knew that Great Exhibition Saloon was going to be a final requirement one day. The problem is, by next week, this requirement is going to die, and we will probably never ever see it again, and because of that, I don't want the Bentley Flying Spur anymore. And really, it's only a fantastic car for its niche, which is going on right now, and that's why when we move on to the second tier list, the Bentley Flying Spur is in the highest rank. Hello and welcome to the second tier list. I've already done it for you, and this is what I think are the best cars for the Tri Series, the best cars for the P1 GTR. But I guess to give you the crash course, this is my tier list for the final. It's curated for the final, specifically for the final. Obviously, those 3 cars on the top are the best cars that gives you the best chances of winning the P1 GTR. And if you've unpacked any of the cars in the bottom list and just don't, they're not gonna win you the P1 GTR. Like if you, let's say you open like 15 carbon fibers and all you got were cars from the just don't category, yeah, just don't even try and compete. You're not gonna win the P1 GTR, chief. But anyway, like I said, guys, 2 different tier lists. This one is curated just for the Tri Series, and this one was made in a general sense. These are cars that are going to help you basically in, you know, Yellowbird, multiplayer, and clubs. But anyway, oh god, before I confuse myself too much, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you guys stay safe. But remember, guys, wash your hands and blossom out. Jeez, well, I just can't think. It must be the sweet potatoes that I was eating. It's making me lose my train of thought. Oh, what